Disclaimer before I start reading this story is that this is more of a creepypasta than anything. It's a rewrite of someone else's creepypasta from like 10 years ago. That one is Vegeta's Revenge. I wanted to read that story for this channel, and I started recording the reading, except I can't upload that because it includes stuff that you can't talk about on YouTube or in decent company. And I advise you not read that story just because of what it's like. Like, I'm serious, don't. Do not. It's yucky. Additionally, any resemblance to any real-world people or persons is entirely coincidental and unintentional. Because this is more of a creepypasta than a Halloween special, but it's also kind of both, it doesn't really have any visuals, mostly because I made the decision to pivot it into a Halloween special way too late. So it's like, it's kind of both, you know, if you think about it. And next October I will re-edit this video and this story to be Halloween specials, even though this also is a Halloween special. Also, even though the tape in this story is subtitled, I'm doing dub voices in the video because I can. And that all being said, let's just get into the story before I keep rambling. 31 October 2024. Dragon Ball. Indisputably one of the most popular anime series of all time, and that's unlikely to change anytime soon. And undoubtedly it's been an inspiration to millions, no matter how small the contribution may be. I guarantee you, if you look hard enough, a lot of modern series have been inspired by Dragon Ball, perhaps inspired by something inspired by it, or inspired by a series inspired something by a series inspired by Dragon Ball. I could keep going, but the cultural impact really cannot be understated. I'm an older person, but yes, I have seen the series. I wasn't impacted by it in my youth or anything like that because I only ever watched it within the past 5 years, but I enjoyed the series a lot and I found some of the storytelling particularly poignant. If you engage with it on an intellectual level, just as an example, the Android and Cell arcs can be interpreted as commentary on the rapid progression of technology. That is neither here nor there. The real purpose of this post is to enlighten others on a rather peculiar piece of Dragon Ball media I laid witness to recently. I work one of my jobs at a video store. Yes, I have two. The economy is in a very poor state right now. I don't quite think I'm going to share where or what the name of it is, just so we don't get bothered about this experience. Recently, though, we got a box without any shipping details or anything of the sort. Quite honestly, we expected it to be a bomb, but after some analysis, nothing was that suspicious about it, other than the nebulous origin. Upon opening the box inside, we found an envelope, on top of a bubble-wrapped VHS case. Inside the envelope, unsurprisingly, was a letter. It read mostly as follows, other than redactional changes. Dear Redacted Staff, attached in this box is a subtitled VHS copy of a Halloween special that Toei had produced for Dragon Ball Z. I'm trying to look for more info on it, but a lot of sources are totally dead links. All I really know beyond that is that the collector's wife was selling all his junk according to the eBay description, and that the special itself is actually kind of disturbing. That part I know because I watched it. You'll see it for yourself if you watch the whole thing. I really don't want it anymore, so once you're done, you all can keep it or you can sell it. Stephanie. I took the envelope out of the box to see the wrapped VHS case in question. I took the bubble wrap off, and the VHS case was just your generic blank tape case. After taking the tape itself out, it was much the same, just a recordable tape from back in the day. Written in blue permanent marker was Dragon Ball Z, Moonglow, and in red was subbed by Luminius Maximus. Speaking of Maximus, that's a really try-hard name. It reminds me of what people used to come up with for chat rooms back on AOL. If this is from the days where tapes had to be imported and hard-subbed, then that's honestly not so shocking. It makes me question whether it's one person or a group, but that doesn't really matter. I did figure since I was opening alone, and since we wouldn't open for about another hour, it wouldn't have been that bad to check out what was inside. I did do a quick Google search on the title of this tape, but nothing relevant came up. With how Google categorizes new results over old, and with most sources about this apparently being dead links, it's not too shocking. And you know what? If you want to find something out, if possible, it's better for you to find it out yourself than have to have an algorithm find it out for you. So if I wanted to understand whatever was inside this tape, I'd have to watch it for myself. I took it into the break room with me, although den is a more accurate way to describe it. Turned the little CRT TV on, turned the VHS player on, popped the VHS in, and sat down. Upon playing, the tape immediately started with the intro. It was from the Cell Saga, so I assumed this took place around that time. I don't really understand why a special had to have an intro in it, but sure. Only abnormality there was the repetition of the person or people who subbed the tape, Luminius Maximus, which they just subbed that underneath the title card, so it's not that unreasonable. Once the opening was over with, we got taken to a recap. The narrator briefly explained the ending of the Cell games, basically how Goku had to sacrifice himself due to Gohan's tomfoolery, how Cell returned, and how the Z-Fighters and Vegeta distracted Cell for Gohan to overpower him with his Kamehameha wave. The segment is capped off with the title card. Would it be any surprise if I told you the card said the same title of the special? No? Okay. After the title card, we cut straight to the moon. Slowly, the camera panned down to this massive crater, wherein a person's arm could be seen reaching out. We stay with this shot for a little bit with the person. A woman with a cloak over what seems to be Saiyan armor keeps crawling out of the crater. Her armor looked a bit like Turles's. As she gets out of the crater, she sighs and dusts herself off, as well as taking the veil down to reveal her white hair. Not a day goes by I won't damn those repugnant Kais for not letting me use their teleportation technique. She turns her head to Earth at the side. Perfect. It's the right place, exactly as intended. Ugh, not like that time I ended up on that planet with the 3 moons. She shudders at the thought. Turning her head back to the crater, she lifts her hand. Chunks of moon start popping out of the ground and combining mid-air. They start forming this strange sort of spaceship shape. If I had to scale it, I think it looked a little bit stronger than the Capsule Corp ship or Kami ship from the Namek Saga. The woman goes inside of the ship, closing it off with a final chunk of moon. We see inside the ship, which is totally dark, until she starts to summon a pink form of energy around her hand. There's a faint whirring noise at that point, with the inside of the ship being a bit more lit up as well. As the ship picks up, we get another shot of space, this time with the camera closer to Earth, but with the moon in sight as well. The scene cuts to Earth. Vegeta sat in his room watching TV. Something that's worth noting is that he's in his Buu Saga clothing. He's watching some sort of news program. The anchor on the television discusses a sighting of an unidentified flying object coming from the moon. Vegeta scoffs and changes the channel, but then the alarms start going off. Bulma swings the door to his room open. Vegeta leans his head to the side to look at her. Vegeta, there's some kind of thing coming from the moon. Yes, I saw. It was on the television. Why do I need to know this? Because... what if it's another threat? Maybe one of your Saiyan buddies? That's impossible. There aren't any left other than me and Kakarot's brat. Well, brats, plural. That kid just got born too. What about Trunks? Oh, yeah, him too, I guess. But even then, the 4 of us are the last Saiyans left. Vegeta has no idea how wrong he is, even outside of this special. Okay, but that doesn't change the fact there's still a weird moonship floating into our atmosphere. Can't you just go take care of it? Vegeta scoffs. And why me? Why should I? I don't fight anymore, you know that. Not after what happened with Cell. Not after being surpassed by Kakarot's kid. Vegeta, come on. Won't you just do it? For me? I mean, even if I wanted Gohan to go take care of it, I'd have to go fly out and ask him. You know how much destruction that might cause in the meantime? Vegeta sighs. Okay, very well. I'll go take care of your moon demon for you, if that'll really make you happy. And... Vegeta mumbles something under his breath as he gets up. Good enough. Okay, good enough. Bye, Vegeta rockets through the roof. Son of a bitch! Vegeta flies off towards the ship. It's strange. That energy is actually rather large. It couldn't be any one of Frieza's forces, and it's definitely not Cell, so who might it be? He closes in on it as it's about to land in a grass field. Vegeta touches down on a nearby hill to witness the interloper exit their ship. Sure enough, it's the lady we saw before. Vegeta peers down at her for a moment, almost taken aback by her armor's appearance. At the same time, she looks back at him, almost as if she knew he was approaching. Presumably that meant she could sense energy too. The lady points her finger out to Vegeta from afar. "You," she shouts. Vegeta furrows his brow. She really did know he was there, huh? He groans, taking off so he can get closer towards her. In a couple seconds' time, he touches down before her. "You, what's your name?" he inquires. "Well now, that's no way to treat a goddess, is it? I'll let it slide for now, but you're on thin ice, buddy." "Right, okay then, goddess. Why don't you explain your presence here before I grind you into paste?" "Of course. I sensed the birth of another Saiyan warrior on this planet a few months ago. That doesn't really happen so often, what with their planet being blown up. I know he has his tail. He seems to be the only one left, so I was just looking to get him under my jurisdiction while I could." "That's interesting. Another Saiyan. You must be talking about Kakarot's brat. How about I let you in on a little secret?" "What's that?" Vegeta is enveloped in a golden aura, his hair spiking up further with the color changing to match. "I'm a Saiyan. Not just a Saiyan, a Super Saiyan, and there's another on this planet even stronger than me. I don't know what you'd need a mere baby for, but even if he isn't mine, I don't trust you one bit." "Oh, is that so? Well, I do recognize that form of yours. It's the one of legend. It's just a shame you don't have your tail anymore then. Otherwise you could find a far greater power than that." "What are you getting at?" "To combine the Super Saiyan and the Ozaru form. It would boost your power at least 500 times from your untransformed state." Damn it. Really? And you're serious about that, yes?" "I am." "How would you even know?" "Because I'm responsible for that Ozaru power. I'm responsible for all the moons. I am the Lunar Supreme Kai. Whenever they create a new planet, they bring me forth in order to bring it a moon. Some planets, of course, don't have moons. And you know what? I'm awfully sick of restoring this planet's moon as well. My co-workers have never exactly cared for my output, but at least among your people, I was worshipped. I was revered, and now you don't even have the decency to acknowledge me. How sacrilegious."
"What? Luminia?"
"The one and only. It just breaks my heart to see you reject my offerings like that. You should be ashamed of yourselves, thinking you're above having a tail. That's why I need that kid. I can raise him right so he can help me with my conquest."
"Well, you're not going to get to him. I don't care if you're a goddess. I don't care if you're immortal. You're not going to get to him, and that's final."
"Is it?" She lifts him up by the throat. Vegeta gasps and sputters for air, flailing and trying to attack her. "Don't fight back. Just close your eyes. Fall under my control. You could be my third in command. Isn't that nice? Close your eyes. Return to your goddess." Her hand takes on a white glow with energy pulsing into Vegeta's body. His throat starts to turn pale, with the paleness spreading throughout the rest of the skin we can see. His hair also gets a tinge wider, similar in shade to Goku's Grade 4 Super Saiyan, although I don't think that's what it's supposed to be. Luminia drops Vegeta onto the ground. He grasps at his throat, sputtering for air. "Do you like that? Becoming my servant? This is what your people were really meant for."
"You can't really mean that."
"I admit it wasn't the original intention, but with the disrespect I've been shown by my colleagues and the disrespect the last of your kind have shown me, you're better off being my tools of revenge."
"You can't make me."
"You don't think so? Okay. How about tell me your name and a little bit about yourself, just to see if you really won't do what I say."
"I am Prince Vegeta IV, heir to the Saiyan Empire. I am married and I have a son."
"Good. See what I mean?"
Yes."
Good. Good. Don't even bother resisting my control because there's nothing in this universe that can break it. Your willpower is the only reason you're even able to think properly right now. Let it all slip away, won't you, Prince?"
Yes, your grandiosity."
"Ooh, big word. Maybe our people aren't so hopeless after all. Help me wipe out this planet's residents so I can moon the place up, huh?"
"Yes, ma'am."
"Right. There are a lot of strong powers on this planet. I'm not even sure the Super Saiyan could have stood up to them. There's one not too far away." Luminia points off in the distance as she says this. "Somewhere in that city, I think. Let's go check it out."
"Affirmative."
She smacks Vegeta on the back of the head. "God, stop talking like a nerd, won't you?"
"Yes, ma'am."
Luminia rolls her eyes, but ultimately she ignores it. She takes off, flying towards the power. Vegeta doing the same. Her aura is white, while Vegeta's is sort of a pale yellow. Much paler than the usual golden aura, but not completely white either. As they fly off, we suddenly cut to Yamcha's perspective. This has got to be probably the most boring day of all time, he thinks to himself. God, I can't wait to get home. I got the premiere of that new telenovela recorded. That should be good. I'm thinking soup for dinner, too. Effortlessly, he smacks the oncoming baseball away with his bat. Unsurprisingly, he gets a home run. It's pretty much to be expected of someone with his power. Although, as he watches the ball fly away, he takes notice of two figures flying towards the baseball field. What's Vegeta doing here? Does he need something from me? Yamcha wonders. Not sure who that other person is either. Luminia and Vegeta land in front of Yamcha. The baseball announcer at this point is going wild about the situation and these strange intruders. You need something, Vegeta? Actually, what's with your skin? You're all pale now. When was the last time you went outside? And, who are you? Yamcha motions to Luminia. I don't know you. This is kind of a bad time to meet, too. I'm in a game right now. Yamcha gestures with his bat at the field around them. Vegeta looks back at Luminia for confirmation. You're one of Earth's warriors, right? Yeah, Yamcha responds. Alright, then we need you to die. Vegeta? The possessed prince nods. He lifts his hand up, charging energy in it. But before he can fire off his blast at Yamcha, Yamcha smacks his hand away with the baseball bat. As if. I've always had a feeling about you, Vegeta, and if this is what you're doing, trying to kill me while I'm just doing my job, I guess I was right. You Saiyans are nothing but evil conquerors. Luminia looks at Vegeta. He looks back at her. Isn't that technically racist? He inquires. If that'll give you more motivation to kill him, sure. Vegeta shrugs. He launches into battle with Yamcha, grabbing him by the throat and flying him face first through the walls of the baseball arena. With the speed he was going at, by the time he's done, Yamcha's face is already severely scuffed up. Vegeta drops him onto his back, pointing his hand down at him with a Big Bang attack charging up. Yamcha, still holding onto his bat, smacks Vegeta in the kneecap with it. Vegeta drops the Big Bang attack, stomping down onto Yamcha with his other leg. He leans down to grab the bat from him. Yamcha isn't strong enough to resist Vegeta's pull, and thus, the bat is taken away from him. Yamcha sticks his hand out in protest, but Vegeta just swings the bat down on it. Yamcha screams out in pain at the attack. Vegeta lifts the bat up once again, and while Yamcha's distracted by his hand, he brings it down on his head. The noise could only really be described as what you hear if you drop a watermelon on accident. That kind of squishy thud, it's just really horrible stuff. Vegeta drops the bat on Yamcha's prone corpse. Keep in mind this was all happening in a matter of 20 or so seconds, so nobody would have even been able to escape the arena yet, although people were definitely trying. He quickly zips back over to Luminia. Should I vaporize everybody else here as well? Sure, go ahead. The two of them take to the skies. Vegeta, finally uninterrupted, unleashes a Big Bang attack from his palm, absolutely obliterating the entire arena, turning it all into a crater. It probably wouldn't be a shock to say there were no survivors. But the method and speed at which Yamcha was killed certainly was. He's not on Vegeta's level, of course, but even then, usually the villains of the show like to play around with their food, so to speak. Maybe it was just because of the limited length, considering the fact it's a special and all, but still. Oh, it feels like someone's coming to investigate. How about we meet them halfway? Vegeta doesn't respond, but he follows after her regardless. The two of them fly off into the city. As they look around for the power signature, they can't seem to find where it's coming from. Luminia turned back to Vegeta and was about to tell him something until being flown into from the side. The attacker pushes her through a building, at which point she's left alone in front of Krillin, finishing off with a Kamehameha beam. With a cloud of smoke flooding in the building, the perpetrator takes a stand next to Krillin. It's Android 18. Good job, 18. It was good for Vegeta to lure them to us too. It's just a shock I actually got to finish the job for once. Actually, come to think of it, if I got to finish things off, what was stopping hit? Vegeta bowls Krillin over from behind with a kick to the back of the head. 18 lunges towards him, but he catches her with a chop to the side of the neck, as well as a knee to the stomach and a headbutt. He causes her to fall over after smashing both his fists against the top of her sternum. Furthermore, the camera cuts back to where the smoke was, now dissipated. Luminia walks forward towards Krillin, 18, and Vegeta. She shoots Vegeta a glance. You should fight the lady. I'll handle her weird little pet. Hey, Krillin interjects, I'm not her pet. That would just be disturbing. I'm her friend. Given the fact that this special takes place, I guess, a few months after Goten's birth, that actually makes a little sense. Normal people don't get married a year into knowing each other. It also makes me wish they were more willing to do filler around the sidecast, but if this is what Toei wanted to use their money on, then so be it. While it doesn't matter what your relationship is, the two of you are in our way. Krillin puts his hands to the side of his head. Solar Flare! Krillin flies in to attack Luminia while she's open. He hits her with a barrage of punches and kicks to the face while midair. Vegeta zips in after him, grabbing Krillin by the back of his gi, but he's interrupted as 18 gets her arm around his throat. Krillin hops back to hit Vegeta with a kick. Vegeta, with his legs free, is able to land a kick on Krillin first, stopping him from landing his own attack. He then elbows 18, causing her grip on his throat to loosen, allowing him to toss her over his shoulder. 18 rushes back in, catching him with her hand on his throat, propelling both of them forward as she flies. 18 abruptly starts slowing down when she gets closer to the wall, eventually stopping when she stands before him against the wall. 18 takes both her hands, slamming Vegeta's head against the walls. He yells out in pain and anger, responding with a headbutt. And then again, and again, and again, and again. Vegeta throws her to the side when he's done.
It's pathetic. To think I was ever beaten by the likes of you. Now you're nothing more than a nuisance. That should go to show you how far us Saiyans are compared to you mongrels.
Vegeta lifts his hand toward 18, charging a purple ball of ki within it. The blast isn't that large, not having that much time to charge, and it would never receive it. Krillin comes in, punching Vegeta upside the face. I remember this part very well because Vegeta pulled this really, really angry expression out. I genuinely cannot describe how angry he looked. Like, the artists put their whole soul into this one. The blast vanishes from his hand. Vegeta grabs both of Krillin's arms, holding him in place where he is. With a scream, Vegeta comes down on Krillin. Not with a headbutt, but something a lot more disturbing. Mouth agape, he delivers a bite to the top of Krillin's head. Krillin yelps out in pain. Vegeta lets go of one of Krillin's arms, but as 18 gets up, he swings him from the side, throwing him right at her. 18 catches Krillin. She observes the mark on his forehead. It doesn't seem incredibly awful, but having a chunk bitten out of your head is never a good thing. While Krillin's within her reach, Vegeta simply points 2 fingers at his head. The explosion was unreasonably loud for a TV special. A massive bang follows up with the sound going to white, mixed in with some ringing. The whole area, maybe 1 meter by 1 meter, was covered in Krillin's head. His body falls to the ground. Mortified 18 looks down at him, and then back to Vegeta.
How could you— What? Are you upset? You could have been spared of seeing this. We wouldn't have even bothered looking for you of your brother due to your undetectable power. Should have just stayed at home.
No. This is why I need to keep fighting. I can't let you get away with this.
Oh, that's cute. It's not like I've heard that a million times during my conquering day.
18 catches him off guard as she flies into him with a punch to the face. She brings both her arms down on Vegeta's head as well, stunning him. 18 spins around, kicking him in the face. She goes for another. Vegeta grabs her leg, throwing her back onto the ground. She gets back up, flying towards him again, landing more attacks on him, but being tossed back all the same. This goes on for another full minute. The more she attempts to attack Vegeta, the more hurt she gets, even though she lands more blows. She was already bleeding from the headbutt she'd received earlier, but now it looked like Vegeta just took a razor blade to her head. During the final rush, Vegeta catches 18 before she can even land an attack on him.
This is something I asked one of your siblings before. Are you afraid?
What?
You should be.
Vegeta hits her with an uppercut, knocking her down one last time. 18 starts getting back up, but by that point it's already too late. Now he points his fingers at her. Bang! 18's midsection upward completely explodes. The camera cuts away before the smoke can clear, but given the fact she never comes after him again, we can assume what happened. I think he was targeting her infinite energy engine too, but it's also possible that's just the point she exploded from. Vegeta starts walking over to Luminia, but at this point we cut somewhere far away. Tien and Chaozu are training with each other, with Chaozu flying out of reach of Tien and responding by freezing him in place.
Wait, Tien says. Do you feel that?
Chaozu unfreezes Tien for a moment. Yeah, I do. Was that—
I can't feel Yamcha or Krillin anymore.
Me neither.
And there's that strange new energy.
Yeah, and Vegeta's been following it.
Right. Chaozu, I want you to go get Gohan.
But wouldn't it be more effective if all 4 of us fought that person together?
Oh, Chaozu, who's the 4th?
Vegeta?
I hate to tell you this.
Oh. Wait, you mean... Is he responsible for this?
He's almost as strong as that other person, and I don't think he'd willingly join up with any of us to fight someone. Maybe Gohan, but not Krillin or Yamcha.
Then it's a targeted attack.
It seems so. That's why I need you to go get Gohan for me. I'll try to hold them off as long as I can, okay?
Alright, please don't die, Tien.
I'm not sure I can keep a promise like that.
Well, you'd better.
I'll try not to die, Chaozu. Now please, let's go.
Alright. The 2 of them fly off in separate directions. The camera also cuts to show Vegeta and Luminia flying in silence. Awkward silence.
Nice weather we're having.
Yeah. The weather isn't really that good on any of the moons. It almost makes me envious. Good thing I'm gonna turn this place into another moon when we're done.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. All one can really hear in the background is the quiet whooshing of them flying. This goes on for another couple of minutes. I won't lie, I got on my phone and checked my notifications during this part. I didn't have any, but I still checked. It comes to an end when they actually meet up halfway. They come to an abrupt stop just as the figure before them does the same. The figure is Tien. They advance a little bit closer to each other.
Vegeta, mind telling me what you're doing with this lady? Or why Krillin and Yamcha's power signatures have totally disappeared?
Vegeta turns his head back to Luminia.
What?
Tien asks.
That's not really relevant. I owe something to her, my goddess. After she granted me and my people our power for so long, I'm indebted to her. All of us Saiyans are.
Okay, does that have anything to do with your complexion?
Sure.
Okay.
Anyway, I'd like to tell you something.
What's that? Tien clears his throat, putting his hands together in a triangular shape.
Kikoho?
He says this almost like it's a question. Vegeta gets blasted off into the distance. Before Luminia can come to attack Tien, he hits her with a Kikoho as well. While they're away, Tien takes the opportunity to pull out an old technique. The 4 Witches technique. By the point he'd fully grow out the extra arms, Vegeta has already returned, only to get hit with another Kikoho and blasted away. Next comes Luminia, who gets met with the same fate. This scene was kind of similar to Vegeta fighting 18 after Krillin got his head popped. The only difference is that Tien was the one with the upper hand here. Also, something that should be pointed out is that neither of those scenes in question were reused animation. They genuinely just animated the same sequence over and over, but from different angles. Vegeta and Luminia eventually change up their strategy, going at Tien simultaneously, but even then he just directs both sets of the arms to face them, firing 2 more Kikohos. At this point, Vegeta's clothing also looks slightly scuffed. Being blasted 7 times probably does do that to you, though. They decide to hang back at this point for a second. Tien watches on in anticipation, just waiting for them to return. Instead, a Big Bang attack comes his way, which he just barely avoids. It gets followed up with a white beam, kinda similar to a Kamehameha or a Masenko or one of those kinds of blasts. Tien also dodges it, but just barely.
I'm not sure how much longer I can last here, he thinks to himself. The 2 of them are a lot stronger than me, and my technique's already starting to take a toll on my body. I'm not sure I'll be making it to my 60s at this point.
When his adversaries return, he instead tests out a couple of Dodanpas at them. 2 pointed towards each foe. It was effective, but neither of them were damaged in any vital areas, nor were they sent back. They both continue flying towards Tien. Quickly, he's able to blast Vegeta with a Kikoho, but not Luminia. She takes her cloak off of her armor, throwing it above Tien's head. He attempts to remove it, but it was all a distraction. She spins midair, hitting Tien with a kick to the side of the head. As he flies away, she trails after him, hitting him with a punch to the stomach, sending him upward. She follows him around some more, hitting him with a kick to the head. She stops Tien in place after that, grabbing one of his extra arms and pulling. Luminia puts her legs around Tien's body like Jiro did to Piccolo, and pulls even harder on the arm. Once, twice. On the 3rd pull, she completely rips it out of his back. Tien yells out in pain, quickly deactivating the Four Witches technique. The arm still attached to him disappears, but the already removed arm stays where it is. Luminia gets off of Tien, smacking him in the back of the head with his own severed arm. Though it helps that it wasn't a primary limb. Tien spins around midair, trying his best to ignore the attack, returning it with a Kiko Ho. This one seemed to be significantly weaker than before, because she ignored it, backhanding him with his arm. Vegeta finally arrives, swooping around Tien to hit him in the back. Furthermore, Vegeta gets his arms around Tien's to hold him in place.
Do you have anything to finish him off?
No, but I have something to stun him.
Quit acting like I can't hear you.
Tien gets backhanded with his arm again. Shut up. Did I tell you you could talk, you bald bastard? Tien fires his mystery ray from his third eye. It was honestly kind of surprising to see this again. I was pretty sure everyone forgot about that. Luminia swerves to the side, using Tien's severed arm to block the attack. His hand gets pierced by his own attack. Again, luckily for him, not part of him anymore. Alright, fine. You could have taken it lying down, but you've clearly overstayed your welcome in this mortal coil. She drops Tien's arm. Slowly floating towards him, she stretches out her arms to his face.
What are you doing?
You'll see. Out of nowhere, she jabs him in one of his eyes with her thumb. Tien screams in agony over the attack. Or, I guess you won't. She jabs him in the other eye. Tien fires another mystery ray, but Luminia was able to just barely push his head upward, causing it to only singe her hair. Dick? She palms him upside the chin. Vegeta, how about you kill this guy already?
Alright.
Vegeta uses his flight to direct Tien upward to the skies. Wait. Using a blast like the one he used against Zarbon, Vegeta blasts straight through Tien's back. He had one hand on the middle of his back and the other at about the tip of his spine, so everything from there upward was completely eviscerated. After the blast was let off, we instead cut to a reaction shot from Luminia. And quite honestly, it wasn't an awful way to include these types of moments without actually having to show them, but at the same time, this is well and beyond even the type of gore we see in the manga. Yamcha getting beaten to death with his own bat, Krillin's head exploding, 18 getting everything midsection upward exploding, and Tien getting blasted basically everywhere mid-back up. Then there's one more thing that'll happen in a bit. Just, yeesh, it's not that much worse, but it's really surprising what they got away with. Or maybe they didn't get away with it and that's why it never re-aired? That is worth considering. I just wish we had more info about this thing. Well, regardless of that, we transition to Chaozu rapidly knocking on the Sun family's door. Chi-Chi answers him with a quizzical expression on her face, to which Chaozu responds by babbling about the situation and flying inside past her. Chi-Chi puts her hand on the side of her face, just wondering what's wrong with him. Chaozu comes and knocks on Gohan's door. Come in? Chaozu opens the door. Gohan swivels around in his chair to face him. Oh, Mr. Chaozu, it's you. Is something wrong? Yes. Yamcha, Krillin, and Tien are dead. What? Yeah, and Vegeta's half involved. What? You're serious, this isn't a bit or anything. Why would I joke about that? Good point, just... Gohan puts his head in his hand. Why would he do that? After so long here, why now? I don't know, all I know is that we need you to stop him. What happened to Mr. Piccolo? I don't know, actually. You can feel his energy too, right? Yeah, which is why it's such a wonder he hasn't intervened. Maybe he's planning something? I don't know what, but maybe. Let's just go, we'll intercept Vegeta, okay? Right. Gohan bursts into Super Saiyan 2, flying out of his opened window. Chaozu follows behind. The two of them don't have to go very far before Vegeta and Luminia appear.
Oh, isn't that something? We were just going to find your mentor, brat.
It's funny you say that. I think Mr. Piccolo might actually be stronger than you at this point. Vegeta just mumbles mockingly at Gohan as a response. Vegeta, you're a fully grown man. Act like it. He mumbles some more. Excuse me? More mumbling. Gohan blasts off towards Vegeta, circling around him. Vegeta attempts to attack him with chops, but Gohan's too fast for him. He punches Vegeta in the chest, causing him to go rocketing off. Gohan trails after him, pushing him through the side of a hill. He flies Vegeta upward through it, and once they're out, hits Vegeta with a barrage of kicks. He loops around, kicking Vegeta from behind as well. Vegeta continues to be launched off into the sky. Gohan pulls his hands back.
Ha! May! Ha! The blast hits Vegeta dead on, and we get a reaction shot of Vegeta yelling out in agony. The Kamehameha clearly wasn't full power, though, as he survives. Gohan flies back in, nailing Vegeta with an uppercut to the face. He follows that up by grabbing Vegeta's leg and tossing him back inside of the hill. With Vegeta seemingly taken care of, he flies back over to Luminia and Chaozu, who were in the middle of arguing with each other. Then why are you white? I don't know, I was just born like this. Or maybe I'm a Nosferatu, or... I don't know, I'm not with you. Well, you suck. I suck? Yeah, you're tiny, and you look like a little ghoul. Yeah, well, you have a tail. Gohan watches on for a moment with his brow furrowed, but with his opponent distracted, he takes the chance he has, ramming into her side with his knee. Gohan continues to lay into her, with punches to the side of the head. This quickly splits off into one of those shockwave things that they do, where the characters attack each other and the sky starts rippling. The collisions stop when Gohan and Luminia both touch down back on the ground, a few meters away from each other. Alright, I admit, you're stronger than I thought, boy. Luminia's tail unravels from her waist. Seems like you're a bit stronger than me, even. While she speaks, we see a shot of Gohan's eyes looking over to her tail. You're a Saiyan? Clearly. Now come over here and let me possess you. We wouldn't want to waste all that strength, would we? You already are. This is your one chance to turn Vegeta back to normal and leave. Nope. Then I guess I'll just have to make you. Gohan rushes in towards her. Luminia throws a kick his way, which Gohan avoids by backflipping over it. He hits her with a drop kick to the stomach, springing off of her to fly back and slam his fists into her back, knocking her over. With Luminia down, Gohan puts his foot down onto her back. He leans down, grabbing her tail. It'd really be a shame to have to do this, but I gave you the opportunity to leave. He pulls on her tail a couple of times, not budging. It does make sense when you consider that they seem to be relative in strength, and he probably would have had to struggle to pull Cell's arm off too. Not helpful either was the fact it kept wiggling around in Gohan's grasp. Meanwhile, Luminia pushes herself up off the ground with her arms. Gohan's eyes widened and he let go of her tail, I guess not expecting that. She rolled over onto her back and hit him with a point-blank blast to the face. And another, and another, and another, and another, and another. Gohan waves the smoke away, looking annoyed when it clears. Is that the best you can come up with? No, I just need some time to prepare it, if that's okay. Gohan sighs. What is it? You know how my tail's intact? Uh-huh. Would you let me transform into an Uzaru? No! Oh, I see. Okay. She puts her hands to the side of her head. Moonglow! Blinding white light emits from her palms in what seems like an imitation of the solar flare. While blinded, Gohan gets grabbed by the throat. Luminia activates her possession technique as white light glows around her hand. But the technique fails. If I had to guess why it didn't work, it would be because Gohan's stronger than her. Vegeta apparently was weaker, which is why it worked on him. Luminia drops Gohan, instead choosing seemingly to retreat into space. And we did already see that she could breathe in space, but only when she actually flew out there was when I realized it. I kind of forgot about the moon not having an atmosphere. And what can I say? I might be a little stupid. Anyway, Luminia turns her attention to the moon. If I can't beat that little imp normally, I'll have to just have one of my creations help me out. She spreads her arms out. Yellow swirls of energy make their way out of her body. It seems like they were some sort of Blutzwave suppression, because once they're removed from her body, she starts to ape out. Her transformation is typical for that of an Uzaru. She gets bigger, she gets hairier, really a lot hairier. She turns into a massive monkey. Normal stuff, really. Just white-haired instead of brown. Uzaru Luminia makes her way down to Earth. Gohan, squinting, just barely makes her out as she enters the atmosphere. By the second, it gets clearer and clearer what's going on to him. Instead of immediately rushing towards her, Gohan holds his ground, reeling his arms back. Ka, May, Ha, May, Ha! The blue beam shoots directly at Luminia, hitting her in the face. After the attack, she puts her hand down to her cheek. You little bastard!
Just watch, I'm at least 5 times stronger than you now. Possessing you will be as easy as churning butter. That's a weird thing to say, but I think she's referencing that myth about how there are bunnies on the moon. A yellow beam comes her way, which she easily backhands. It returns to its sender, revealed to be Chaozu. He just barely dodges the attack. Luminia gives him a mean side-eye. I guess you'll be first. Come here. No! Gohan flies in front of Chaozu, kicking Luminia's hand. It doesn't work. She opens her hand to grab him, but with the speed advantage, Gohan grabs Chaozu, flying the both of them off to the side for safety. Mr. Chaozu, I remember that psychic thing you did against Nappa. Can you still do that? Do you think it'll work here? No, I think she's too strong. Okay, what if you try to paralyze her tail? We might be able to cut it off then. I don't know. I can try. Please do. I'll go in to distract her. Move in when you can. Alright. Gohan does as he plans, flying directly behind Luminia, hitting her with a kick to the back of the head. She swats at him like a fly, but Gohan avoids her palm, swooping back around to the front of her face. Luminia tries to react, only to get hit with a Masenko to the eye. She swats Gohan away with the back of her palm. However, since she wasn't focusing on possessing him, all it does is its perfunctory task in knocking him away. Gohan careens off into the side of the hill. Seeing Gohan injured, Chaozu quickly rushes to his defense, aiming a Dodonpa at Luminia. As soon as the beam fires, she slaps it upward. She takes her hand off of her face, blasting Chaozu into smithereens. The yell he lets out when he gets blasted is just horrific. If you've ever played Sparking Zero, or at least seen footage of a certain attack of Chaozu's, like when he yells, "Here I go!" It sounded like that, except this time it definitely wasn't out of bravado, just out of pain. Luminia laughs. 5 down, 1 possessed, and 2 left to possess. Seems like the other races really are inferior to the Saiyans if this is how easy they were to defeat. But no. Not you. You're special, boy. And so is the prince. Let's hope that baby with the tail is, too. What? Oh, you don't know? The reason I'm here is because I need that child. He's the only one left capable of harnessing the true power of a Saiyan other than me. And even I don't have one of the forms required for that. You'd be delusional to think he could get there alone. The thing about the 5 down, do you mind repeating that? Oh, yeah, 5 down. The warriors of this planet. We killed that man with the wood thing. We killed the Baldy and his friend. We killed that other Baldy. He was a Triclops, though. Now all that's left is to get you onto my side and we'll be done. I wouldn't be so sure about that. That voice, it was... Mr. Piccolo? Seems like I can't wait any longer to strike. I knew if I'd approached both of them alone, I wouldn't be able to do anything. Not even with the others would we have been able to win. But in a moment like this where she's all alone, I think I can tip the tides. And why's that, Namekian? Don't you realize how much stronger I am now? Yes, but you don't understand your vulnerability. Piccolo aims his hand upward towards the sky. It takes a second for her to process what he's going to do, but Luminia quickly snaps into action. Don't you dare! She points her palm back at Piccolo. Piccolo moves his hands to his head out in front of him. Masenko! Die! Gohan, now! The moon! Right, he flies away. With Piccolo distracting Luminia even for a moment with the beam clash, Gohan is able to escape. He makes his way up into the atmosphere. Charging ki in his hand, he lobs the dense ball at the moon. The impact of the attack causes it to explode, which we get to see, but Gohan doesn't. He zips back too quickly to even look. From closer to Piccolo's perspective, we see him struggling and barely holding on in the beam clash. It seems to be mere meters away from him. But the beam begins shrinking. Luminia's jaw hangs open as she shrinks in size, back to her base form. What the hell? Masenko! Gohan hits her dead on with his mentor's attack, taking her all the way down to the ground. With her floored, he flies over to Piccolo. Mr. Piccolo, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. Now on my count, do as I do, okay? Alright. Luminia flies back up into the air. Vegeta, come get your ass over here. Surprisingly, he actually does come. But instead of being pale, he looks normal again. Albeit slightly damaged.
Did you really think you could take over a Saiyan prince and get away with it?
Vegeta, go attack them? Right? You want to go beat them up?
No.
Don't you want to respect your god? Vegeta screams in rage.
Final Flash!
Wait.
Masenko!
No. No, you can't do this! The three beams coalesce on Luminia, completely enveloping her in light. You can't do that! You can't! The three warriors pump more energy into their attacks, causing them to grow bigger. Luminia gets completely blasted off into the distance. We hear her screaming and yelling from within the blast. No! The beams explode, putting her down for good. Vegeta, still panting, turns to address Gohan.
Boy.
What?
Where were you?
I was just doing my homework, man. Chill out.
Chill out? I was possessed, goddammit.
Vegeta, we still won.
I don't care. What if I'd still been training? What if she took me over and I was stronger than you? Huh? You'd be possessed too. Your master would be dead. This whole planet ravaged. She'd take your damn baby brother. Do you want that?
Of course not.
Then get a backbone and act like you don't. Ugh.
Vegeta flies off into the distance, enraged. Piccolo puts his hand on Gohan's shoulder.
I hate to admit it, but he's kinda got a point. Even though he's a total douche about it. We need to get you training again. You're the strongest person around right now. Me and the others do need to catch up, but it shouldn't be because you won't develop yourself. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I've just been really busy the past year. You know I had to catch up with about 3 years of school in one, right? Since I got so much older from the time chamber.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But please, when you have the time, keep training. The Dragon Balls should be reactivated in about a month or so we'll go gather them then. By that point, I want you to train again, alright?
I'll try.
Good.
We cut to footage of the Dragon Balls being gathered while the narrator recaps the special, as well as the journey. We also get to see some special cameos from Nam and Pamput, with them handing over a couple of the Dragon Balls. The narrator explains how Gohan has been able to get some training in on a couple days of the week, and how hopefully the prospect should make him stronger than ever. Considering the Buu saga, we already know how that goes. We also see muted footage of Dende wishing for everyone to be revived, with it then showing the warriors who died becoming conscious again. The second wish was seemingly to restore the moon, since the special ended on a shot of that. And then the subtitles started acting up, saying things like, "Death come unto mankind, she'll be back, count your days." All this crazy stuff, yet there was no audio. That definitely has to be the fault of the subbing group, or maybe just subbing person. I'll admit I had to rewatch the tape to transcribe what happened in it, and at this point I saw something that I never saw in my last watch. After the subtitle freak out, it cuts to black for a minute. The only reason I was still playing the tape at this point was because I was still transcribing it. There was this abrupt static, which cleared up bit by the second. When the static was over, there was all this footage of a dark room, lit by candlelight, a little table in view of the camera. People in cloaks, all maroon like Luminia's. That's probably relevant since a picture of the moon flashed onto the screen. Not a drawn moon, the real moon. Our moon, just to be clear. The people removed the hoods of their cloaks. They all looked like pretty normal women. Their hair was all white, though. They didn't seem old enough for that to be the case, so it was likely that they all dyed it white. Like her. Someone else comes in from off-screen with a cage, holding a monkey? But the monkey's hair was dyed white. The individual places the cage on the table, then revealing their own hood, of course revealing her own white hair too. She rotates the cage to have the door facing her. The more of us you pillage, the closer you are to return. Your vessel will be ready once we have all been consumed. Goddess, accept our sacrifice and tribute to you. The lady standing before the cage opens the door, then spreading her arms out. The monkey looks at her quizzically. The lady pokes the monkey. She starts to get a little bit annoyed. Again, the lady pokes her, once more, and another time, and another, and she bites the woman's hand. Yes, get angry. That exact phrase, get angry, seemed to awaken something in the monkey, like it was a sleeper agent code. She turned, climbing the bars of the cage to mount it. Once on top, she lunged towards the woman, beginning to maul her. She fell down as this happened. One of the other women, one with freckles, approached the camera to direct it at the scene. I won't lie, I looked away. Yeah, I looked away, and I'm not ashamed of it, because tell me, genuinely, if you saw a monkey mauling someone to death, would you want to look at it? I had to fast forward through this just to see what else was on the tape. After the lady was finished being mauled and completely unmoving, the rest of the women then surrounded the monkey, detaining her despite her resistance. They stuffed her back into the cage. The lady with freckles addresses the camera again. 6 more to go. My death shall mark your return, goddess. We'll be waiting. After this, the tape just stops. It completely cuts out to static. I tried to fast forward through this, thinking it was just another fake out or something, but no. It didn't even register a response, which really did mean that the tape was over. And just thank God for that, because what? I mean, no, what? What the fuck was that? Is that like, is it a cult? Is it a prank? But what kind of people would pull a prank by having someone get mauled to death? It can't be. I also don't know what year that was supposed to be recorded. Neither the special itself nor the part at the end. I have to assume they were the ones who subbed the tape, considering the name on the tape itself. Luminius Maximus, but seriously, what the fuck? I mean, I know I'm getting repetitive, but like, Jesus, damn. What even is that? What's that supposed to be? Are they like genuinely convinced the monkey's gonna turn into an anime character? I know some people have abnormal inclinations towards certain characters in certain TV shows who don't have that much lore behind them due to a lack of screen time, but this is a whole nother level. I don't know. I'm just posting this because I need to know if anybody has any information about the special itself or the people in the end. 5 November 2024. Alright. I came back from work to discover my doorknob removed. I thought my place would have been robbed or something, and that's technically right, but the perpetrators didn't take much. The tape is gone. It's not here anymore. Just poof, vanished. I have to assume whoever was here took it for some reason. Considering the fact I was posting about it, that gives me a really bad feeling. Also gone was my calendar. It was one of those solar system calendars where each image at the top is something within the solar system. November was the moon. It feels like those people in the end have some kind of connection to this. Except I can't use the part they were in the tape as evidence because I don't have the tape. I don't even really want it either. Yeah, I kept it. It would have been stupid to sell it, if it really was a one-of-a-kind special never re-aired again. I feel like, if anything, my mistake was posting about it. I don't know what these people did to find my house. All I did was say I worked at a video store. I can assume that girl who sent me that letter lives around the area. Was it maybe bait? Is she with them and have I been followed around? I don't think so. I think I would have noticed, but maybe I'm not vigilant enough. I don't know. I don't know what to make of this. I don't get it, I don't understand, and I don't like it. I really, really, really don't like it. Not at all. They didn't even take anything valuable from me. I don't get it. I just don't. Something also more annoying than anything is the fact that when I went on my computer today and looked through my MP3s, my download of Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd was deleted. Also, the song Moonglow by Venetian Snares was deleted too. Really just any file related to moons. I guess it's creative even if it is a nuisance, but it still makes me feel unsafe. I'll have to ask my neighbors if they saw anything or have any footage. I know I don't. I don't keep a Ring doorbell or anything like that because I feel like they're an invasion of privacy for people who just want to take a walk on the sidewalk. And I still do feel that way, but maybe being in the know about this stuff would be more important. I don't know. I have to leave. I'm getting a knock at the door right now.